exciting, if I may say, expo, one of its kind here in the country, and that is the Cheza Sports Expo. In studio is Yvonne Amai, who's the partner for Cheza Sports Expo, and Maina Kinyanjui, who's the CEO for Cheza. Now, of course, we want to get into this, and I would like to begin with you, Maina. You know, where did the idea come from of having such an... Even before we get there, before we go deep into it, what's the Cheza Expo all about?
Well, the Cheza Expo is an expo in sports and active lifestyle. It's designed to actually convey a very different element of sports to what people are usually used to here in the country. It's the first experiential expo in sports in Africa, actually, not just in Nairobi.
Not just in Kenya.
Yes, it's the first one in Africa, and it's something that we think is going to be able to change the conversation of sport holistically and get people to experience it in a different way. Yeah.
So how was the idea born? You know, like, let's have this. So it's not something that we've had. Let's have this. How was the idea born?
It's a funny thing, actually. When I was in a campus in my first year, we were actually asked to do a project report on a new exciting idea that would be able to work in the industry or in the market. And one of the proposals that I did was about active lifestyle, about people doing quad biking and doing bungee jumping. And I remember being told that you're losing your mind, this would never actually happen here. But over the years, we've been crafting, learning, planning, and moving forward with the notion. And we've noticed that there's a big community of these people in sports and active lifestyle that we've been able to put together. Yeah.
Yvonne, you are not new in the sporting industry. I mean, you've worked on a number of projects in sports. And as a partner of this, you know, what do you make of the concept?
I was sold, I think, 5 minutes into listening to Maina try and introduce me to Cheza, because for a very long time, sports has been taken as a hobby. You know, it's never been taken seriously. And if you look at all the other sectors of business, they always have a platform where you can get to not only experience the business, but also get at least first-hand customer service in terms of understanding what they offer. There's been very many exhibitions, and Maina is an expert in exhibitions this far. So for there to be a platform for sports to actually communicate that, then it means we were going to be part of bringing the sports community together for the first time. Because one of the key challenges, especially in the region, is that whenever you meet people around sports, they have very brilliant minds, but unfortunately we don't come together enough to actually actualize anything. So an exhibition like this, and right now as we sit here, we have over 40 exhibitors just signed up for the 3-day event. For 40 different sports disciplines, sports and active lifestyle disciplines coming together, then it means no matter what challenges we present, we will shift the conversation from complaining about what other people are not doing to help sports, but to also taking responsibility ourselves to do something about sports.
I mean, Yvonne, were you not afraid, you know, first when you were presented with it, that, you know, people might not actually buy into this idea?
I was actually afraid we will succeed beyond our expectations. And I think that was sinking in when the number of exhibitors were clocking more than 20. You get. The thing is, for a start, we did not have much expectations. Our objective basically became, let's deliver this. As I said before, Maina has been in the expo business for a very long time, you know, so he has more insight on that. I've just been on the sports side. So I think it gives a lot of confidence that I'm dealing with somebody in the industry expert. So it also gives confidence for all these other people to come and partner with the same. So I think the only fear there was not about not succeeding, was about just exceeding expectations, yes.
Maina, what do you hope to achieve with this expo? It's the first of its kind. What do you hope to achieve?
Honestly, first, is for my exhibitors within the expo, for people to be able to have an edutainment towards what actually happens within sports, because our knowledge is so limited of sport and sport business. There are many categories of sport that are actually industries within this country that people are not familiar with. And at the end of the day, what we're hoping to have is exposure of the market to the exhibitors and the exhibitors to the market, and create synergies, different people working on different things that can be able to make a bigger picture come alive. So again, as Yvonne is saying, me and her partners were from 2 different parts of the world, connecting with 2 different experiences to bring something different in the sports industry together. And that's what we're hoping for the exhibitors and the visitors and different members or different stakeholders in the sporting fraternity at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yvonne, somebody seated at home will want to know, what type of sports will be on display. I mean, football, rugby, athletics are some of the big, and volleyball are some of the big sports that we have in Kenya. So which other type of sports that will be on display, and why would a person want to come and see that?
As Maina mentioned before, we are into sports and active lifestyle. So the overall objective is to actually encourage that healthy living. So apart from your normal field sports, we're also going to have some board games. The introduction to Scoreline today had a very nice exhibition for skateboarding and all. So when you come to the Cheza exhibition, you'll be able to experience board games, that is skateboarding and all. And we also have an artificial lake at the waterfront, where the water sports exhibitors are going to be able to display some of the water sport options that you have. We're also going to have motorsport. We have a mini track there, so you can come and quad bike and all. We also have a pavilion for esports, basically gaming. So we're going to have virtual reality and a few different games that will be going on. We also have alternative fitness. We have yoga, the normal yoga, and then we also have aerial yoga, where you're on a ribbon and you're swaying. So under alternative fitness, we also have not so common way of fitness, but it's pole dancing, which many women are taking up, many men and women are taking up as an option for an active lifestyle. So yeah, there's a lot that we are offering. There's also going to be a huge human-sized chessboard, and people can learn how to play chess. We're also working with the Kenya Table Tennis Federation to have some table tennis games, and people can get to not only learn table tennis, but also enjoy the experience. We also have some ring sports and 2 different types of martial arts that will be on display, so people can learn about martial arts and also a few tricks.
Is it going to be competitive?
It's very experiential, so I guess the competition now is for the people we're engaging to decide how far they'll go.
How far they're going.
Yes.
But they will be football, basketball. We are going to have that, football, basketball on the exhibition.
Yes.
Now, some of the sports that, some of the type of sports that Yvonne has spoken about, are viewed to be elite for a particular class in the country. And, people would want to know, if I come, will I get a chance of getting into this? For example, golf. People view golf as a sport for the, a particular, sport. It's an elitist sport. People view it like that. So when people come, are they given the chance to, play a hands-on chance to participate in this?
Actually, that's why we're calling it experiential at the end of the day. This is the first expo or first kind of interaction where you don't come and see, you don't come and look, you don't come and watch, you actually come and participate firsthand. You're there, you come and interact with the trainers. We have a professional skateboarding society which is on board. We have Africa Skateboarding which is on board. So you come on board and you're taught how to do the basics of these things. You get to experience these things firsthand and with professionals at the end of the day. So a lot of experiences are going to be had by different people, and we want to expose people to these new things. I agree with you with the normal perception of these sports being considered elitist, but they're exactly the opposite of that. If you look at skateboarding, for instance, as a sport in itself, it emanated from surfing, which is actually an elitist sport. And it evolved into skateboarding, which is actually more social. So we've gone with 2 fulcrums of fun and social. That's what we want people to be able to do.
That's what,
have fun in a social way. So they do it as a group at the same time, learn and get an education behind sport. Yeah.
Yvonne, when you have such an event, I believe, you know, somebody will want to come and learn from some of the biggest stars that we have. When you talk about, if it's rugby, I would want to come and experience rugby from, you know, somebody that is celebrated in that sport, you know. So have you put this in place probably to have some of the biggest stars in different sports on this expo?
Quite the contrary. Our approach towards field sport, like for instance, we don't have like a full-size football pitch or a full-size rugby or even basketball pitch. Our approach is more developmentary in terms of they see all these big stars, but some of these big stars are also involved in development work. Like for instance, our conversation with the organizations is not for us to come and have an autograph signing session and leave, you know. You have to remember that we're trying to create a lifestyle. A lifestyle does not come with only participating on the field. So we're trying to ensure that that mom who will come with their son there, or father who will come, the families that will come will get to understand the game from both aspects of having fun and also learning. Because we want them to know that an active lifestyle does not necessarily mean that you end up playing for the Kenya team, you know, in all this. That you can actually have an active sports lifestyle without necessarily getting too much into the competitive age. Again, the sports federations still maintain the mandate of growing the game, but our involvement, especially for this inaugural phase, is just to introduce the sport and the fun aspect of it so that we can interest more young people to pick it up. Because once it's picked up from that generation, then it becomes easier for parents also to engage in active lifestyle. Yeah.
So, Maina, the question that, you know, somebody will be asking themselves at home right now, what will make me, as a football fan, come to the Sports Expo?
Well, as a football fan or a fan of sport, we like to look at it more holistically than from an individual perspective. As a fan of sport, there's a common factor that is there for everyone, which is we have this craving for adrenaline, first and foremost, and excitement, and something that you want to be able to challenge yourself in. So we have more than 30 experiences which are available at the waterfront during the 3-day event. These experiences are things that you'd ideally normally have to walk far and wide to be able to get. We have exhibitors who are coming in from Watamu, exhibitors coming in from Diani, exhibitors coming in from Sagana, people coming from Mount Kenya. So we have a lot of people who are coming from all over the country and are coming to actually congregate in one area for 3 days. And it's a first-hand rapport that you can be able to engage with them.
Yes.
Right.
Yvonne, you seem to be concurring with that.
Yes. Even from a strength and conditioning point, in terms of technical development of the game, we are seeing an interdisciplinary approach towards sports. So the Expo is specifically curated for that. That experience is it also introduces the basis of such things. We have a sports business pavilion that will have experts from different arms of sport coming to sort of speak or rather engage the public on such issues, because you find this footballer has to do a little bit of basketball, a little bit of table tennis, a little bit of swimming, you get. So the professionalism in sport is evolving in such a way that an athlete has to be psychologically prepared depending on a little bit of aspects they will pick from every other discipline. So we are looking for 3 days, a 3-day experience that will take you through the entire sports journey. If you look at where we are going from, especially on the business end of sport, esports has really come up, and we're seeing that the relationship esports now has with our sports is no longer as linear as it used to be. You know, our real sports now is also feeding off the esports. It's a whole ecosystem, and that's what we were presenting for these 3 days.
You had something to say, Maina?
Yeah, when she's speaking about sport business, it's important for people to realize that there's two fundamental sides of sport. We have the participatory side of sport, or the physical playing side of sport, and we have the business side of sport. meaning you don't necessarily have to be in the field to be in sports. And these are different categories of things that we need our public to understand. We need people to be able to engage in. Come and see the different opportunities that sports actually presents. This is a multifaceted industry with so many people in different professions. We have sport law, we have sports science, we have sports marketing, we have sports development,
nutrition.
Sports nutrition. So there's so many different categories of sport where people can be able to plug in. And you see, and unfortunately, when I was growing up, for instance, one of the things that was always taken away from individuals during school, for instance, was the extracurricular activities as sport. And we're told that this is, you shouldn't do this because you're not concentrating on this other side. That's a falsification. It's something that we want people to be able to see firsthand.
Yvonne, you talked about you guys having e-gaming. It's one of the things that is, you know, starting to shape itself in the country, as opposed to, you know, years that have gone by. We've gotten to a point where we have, you know, the FIFA World Cup, and then after the FIFA World Cup, we do have the FIFA E-World Cup. You know, we've gotten to that point. So somebody at home will want to know more about e-gaming and how you are handling it on the Expo.
As I mentioned before, the relationship that esports has with sports right now is reached a level where we cannot ignore it.
Yes.
At the Expo, we are looking to expose. Again, one of the things that always is assumed is the eliteness of enjoying the esport experience. Because only when we start by looking even at the prizes of just a console or something, somebody might be tempted, you know, not to go that way because of the expense attached to it. However, over the recent years, we realized that in almost each residential area, we have a room somewhere where guys go and play these games. You get? And even most recently, the UEFA has their own competition now for esports. The EPL is joining, and in the next few years, all the top 5 European leagues will be having their own e-competition. So when you come to the Cheza exhibition, we want to welcome you to these people and show you that all the esport is accessible. If you look at our call to action is that you should dare to play. So we're telling you that esports is an experience that you can enjoy without necessarily breaking the bank for it. And you have the opportunity to meet all these people who offer these services, and you can enjoy some great discounts at the Expo because of their presence at Cheza.
Water sport. Let's talk about water sport. Maina, you say that at the Expo you'll be having a small say the small swimming pool?
Lake. It's a lake. It's an artificial lake.
Artificial lake. Now, you know, when you talk about water sport, there are people that take part or rather participate in Mombasa. Others do it in Kisumu. We have Sagana, and you know, trying to bring this sort of experience to people here in Nairobi. How easy is it, or how difficult is it?
Well, it's not easy, to be honest, because there's a lot of logistical considerations to be able to make. But at the end of the day, esports has been, not esports, water sports have been available for a long time within the country. And we've done our research and we've realized that there's a significant problem in getting people to understand what the water sports is about and actually move them from the mainland to the ocean where they can be able to practice in the sports. So we've reverse engineered this where we're bringing the sports to Nairobi. We're getting people to get their experiences first and foremost, be able to understand it a little bit more. And we're offering these things called golden tickets. So now the idea for the golden tickets is we still need you to have a full experience. Our lake is good, but it's not the ocean.
Yes.
So we need people to actually be able to do these water sports. So we have tons of water sports offerings from our exhibitors, where you can be able to win transition points to Watamu, to Diani, to be able to actually go and do these things firsthand. Savage Wilderness, who is one of our exhibitors, is also taking people to Sagana for them to experience whitewater rafting firsthand, get people classes. We need to reduce our our number a bit more. You know, about 70% of people in this market cannot swim. Now, that's a shocking statistic, and it's something that...
Are you one of them?
No, I'm a great swimmer. But we need to get more people to embrace water at the end of the day, because water sports is a big facet that we have. It's a big asset that we have in the country. It's something that we have an entire coastline. This is something that we can be able to utilize from a sport business perspective. So the more people we can get to engage in that, learn that, build careers in that, can be able to move forward with the water sports.
Yvonne, as we wind this up, is this an avenue, you know, that you're using now to tell Kenyans that sport pays?
Yes. As we keep repeating it, it's a sports and active lifestyle exhibition. In fact, one of the key topics that we have is why sports, that we're going to discuss at the Sports Business Pavilion. Picking up from Maina's comments, we're already seeing a facet of sports tourism that hasn't been exploited as much, you get. And even one of the reactions you had is that some of these sports are elitist, you get. The difference is just because you do not know, you assume that I cannot, you know, and do these things. But we are bringing it in a place where we're telling you, you know what, you can actually afford to go to Watamu and do this, you know. You don't have to break the bank for it. So that's the platform we are using at Cheza. We have designed Cheza to actually tell people that, you know what, dare to play, to play, you know.
So they should dare to engage into any...
Exactly. Dare to engage in any form of sport. No matter how crazy it is, dare to engage in it.
Maina, so when is this going down? 16th?
This is going down on the 16th, 17th, and 18th of November.
Charges?
Charges, we're actually engaging people to come in as squads. So our squad tickets are going for 10K for a group of 5 people to be able to come and enjoy all the experiences. This is a free all-access pass. Once you buy the ticket, there are no more charges on the inside, except obviously for food and beverage.
Well, thanks a lot for finding time to come to and talk to us about the Cheza Expo that is going down on the 16th, 17th, and the 18th of November. That will be next weekend here in Nairobi at the
front in Karen.
In Karen. So thank you for finding time to come to talk to us about that. We take a short commercial break. When we come back for the third part of Scoreline this afternoon, we'll be crossing over to Camp Toyo grounds here in Nairobi. Remember, the legend, the magician, the best to some, the best ever footballer in the world, Ronaldinho, will be at the Camp Toyo grounds. Kelvin Kimanthi is there. We'll be crossing over to him to get to know from him and the people that are there, you know, how it feels to get closer to the footballing legend that is Ronaldinho. We also have